I don't remember exactly when I met this little girl, but I had a little boy. And I think one of them had been chasing the other one for a while before I even heard about it. Had something to do with the Joyo Theater or something, I don't know. But anyway, I found out that Becky was really trailing my little boy. And by the time we found out about it, it was too late. Because, you know, we found out later.
Dennis don't know.
We didn't know it at the time, but we found out later that what Becky wants, Becky gets. We've learned that later. But anyway, I'm sure glad you wanted my son, because that means I got a daughter that I love tremendously. First of all, I love you.
Well, I wasn't going to tell the story about the barn, but
Well, I just want to go back to the giving person that Becky is. I'll never forget our very first trip to Sturgis. Jack was going to go with Dave and Jody and Danny and Becky. And we were sitting at Dairy Queen one night, and I thought, no, wait a minute. I have to go too. I have got to go. So I said, okay, I'm going to try to get off work. So I could see Becky's face kind of like, oh my. I mean, they had a smaller camper, smaller RV then. And she took it so wonderfully, especially when I said I was going. Now having an RV, I understand the panic she must have felt, all of us in that RV. That was
6 of us.
quite a sacrifice. Quite a sacrifice. That was the most wonderful trip. And so I think from our motorcycle times and getting to know one another, I have told her this, that I've never had so much fun in my life as I have with them and our trips. And we went to Colorado Springs 2 years ago when Dave met his granddaughter, and then Becky later came back, and they had made a video of that whole trip, because I had told her that through the years my husband's never got paid vacations or anything, so we hardly ever went anywhere. And so that was my first traveling experiences, and she made this special video camcorder of our whole trip and gave it to us. And it was so special to me, and I've always appreciated that. And I just want to tell you how much I really love you as a friend.
Well, it's time to stop, isn't it?
No, I haven't been a member of the family too often many years. 1994, somewhere in there. But right after I got married, I told my wife, I said, "Boy, that Danny is going to be a dynamite Christian." And she said, "Danny?" And one night we went over to their house. I remember this so good. She hadn't told me what she was going to do, but we sat down at the table, and she said, I got to thinking, if I only had a week to live, what would some of the things be that I'd want to do? And she said one of them was to come and tell you about Jesus. And I remember that night, and Danny got up and he said, "It's already happened, it's already happened." And a while later, Becky had said to me, she said, "I just hope it's real. All I want it to be is real." And we know it is, don't we? And it was just a tender moment I got to share with them. And there's many more things, but that was,
the beginning.
yeah. And we just got to see two people blossoming in the Lord. And they just become beautiful flowers in Jesus. And we love you so much. We'll always
Can we lighten this up a bit?
Tell us about the barn. I like that.
We're not lightening it up too much.
Oh,
24 years ago when I married Danny's dad, I got 3 steps. And between us, we have 8 children. We don't have friends because we spend our time with our kids, and that's our favorite thing to do. Somewhere along the line, Danny and Becky became more playmate than kids for both of us. And we love spending time with them, and they have introduced us to Heart Ranch, which is a very wonderful thing because we really like it up there a lot. But I do have to tell one little story. Becky's heard this many times because I keep throwing it up to her. I wasn't, this isn't it, but I wasn't in the family long before I knew that Becky had a place for everything, and everything was in its place. And if it wasn't in its place, she made a place. She used to make organizers for purses, and now you can see them in catalogs. People have made them and manufactured them, and you can buy them in bulk, I guess. But she was the first. I used to tell her that if she ever didn't want to work at Pfizer anymore, she could make a living organizing people's homes. Everybody needed her. But the story I want to say is, Becky isn't very big herself, you know, but she likes to lord over me that she's taller than I am yet. So one day we were out and about, and Becky said, I want you to be careful when you step off this curb. And I thought, does she think I'm going to fall? And I looked at her, and she looked at me real sly, and she says, I don't want you to hit your butt. So I bring it up to her every now and then. I have come to adore Becky, and I love her with all my heart.
before we go any further, I have to set the record straight, and this party was actually your idea.
I thought it was a good one.
It was a great one.
And I kind of love you a little bit.
Thanks. I just want to tell you thank you for the Taco John dates, for every Dairy Queen we stopped at from Lincoln to Colorado Springs and back, for letting Miles dig in your purse when he was being restless and you just let him pull out whatever he wanted, and just for being there.
Hi, those of you who don't know me, I'm Becky's step-granddaughter, but I like to think of myself as just her granddaughter. Just about every year, they used to have these picnics around June, I think it was, and, you know, we'd go, and went until I was about 13, 14 years old, I think, that Grandma started saying, well, Katie, I hope you're there, and I was always kind of, why? And she goes, because I want you to watch the kids. Because she knows I like kids. So every year she wanted me there because we always needed someone to watch the little kids to keep them out of the adults' hair. I want to say thank you for that opportunity.
Hi. The people who don't know me, I'm Josh. I'm Katie's little brother. And we're up in South Dakota in 2003, and we went up to this rock area, and we were taking pictures, and I was almost over the edge, and she's like, if you fall, we ain't coming down to get you. So.